Okay, so this one is a talk on yin and yang, mostly relating to reality and people, and something that you can use more practically to understand your life and to navigate it a bit better. And behind me is Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. It's not going to be read in this video or anything like that, but it's a nice book, very, very short, that you should check out yourself. If you're interested in esoteric Hinduism, just don't take it too real or too heavy or whatever, or else you'll be meditating out in the mountains all alone, unless you're into that. Anyway, so yin and yang, we all probably know most of the things like yang is positive, it's hot, it's a sun, yin is a moon, it's cold, it's water, yang is fire, etc. In the body, yang, I believe, is tension. Yin is relaxation. Relaxation. Okay. So that's very simple. Tense and relax. Tense and relax. I'm tensing my arm, my forearm, and relaxing. So any activity you do which causes you tension usually heats up the body. Any activity that heats up the body is what you would think of as a yang activity. Usually yang activities are better done during the day or when you have more volatile heat, though to build up heat in the body, to build up this yang energy, you can just start to do something. For example, there's this idea people always talk about, well, they need motivation to do something. Why do you need motivation to do something? Why don't you just do it? Because once you start doing something, you will warm up. You feel like doing it. So usually there is a further problem there, which I think is a lack of yin. It's not that someone needs motivation, or it's not that someone needs stimulation. Stimulant, stimulation, this is all yang. I think it's a lot of the time that someone needs more yin. They need more. Yin can be matter in the body. It could be also the energy of yin is more physical. It feels physical. So if we're talking about pure energy, yeah, you can feel this yin energy as just this nice, almost cold, magnetic, stable kind of field in the body, while the yang energy is more like an adrenaline. It's more of a quickness. So more on yin. This is more the nighttime. It's nighttime activities. Anything which causes you to relax and soften, as your body. A more yin body will be softer. It will be usually bigger. So this is an interesting thing for example, a weightlifter. If someone wants to be a bodybuilder and they want to put on lots of size, they actually need a lot of yin energy, because it's they need that to put on the size of the muscle. Pure yang just makes it very dry. The muscles are very dry, very tense, very smaller. But yin, it expands things, it bloats them up with water. But yes, it's anything. It makes you put on more weight because yin is more storing. So doing things that are relaxing, that are that you're not tensing, you're not burning your energy. Personally, I like the yin force a bit more, just because it's very conducive to healing. So yes, yin is very conducive to healing, relaxing, letting your blood just flow, and doing things which don't stress you out. Of course, doing yang activities like muscle exercises are good to develop the body, to develop yourself. That would be hard training, you would think. So they're both very necessary. So yes, anything meditative, relaxing, etc. That is a yin activity, and it builds up yin energy in the body, which, as I said, is a very physical feeling, very stable. And if you build up enough of this, it turns into water, In the body, water and fat, you'll be more moist, you'll feel more liquidy, usually more kind of like you're almost in a dream or a sleep, or just that nice relaxation feeling. That's what you'll feel. Similarly, if you do more yang things, you'll feel hot, you'll feel passionate. Passion is yang. Sexually, fluids of like a man's semen and prostate fluid and all these other ones, and a woman's vaginal fluid, milk as well, saliva. These fluids are all yin, so if someone has a deficiency of yin, they will have a hard time producing body fluids. Same way sexually, they'll have a difficult time. If they have a yang deficiency, they won't feel any passion or any fire, any kind of like intense love, any kind of excuse me, sexual lust as well. Men who have a yang deficiency will have a hard time keeping their penis hard. Women will have a hard time getting aroused, so there's that. And also if men ejaculate, because sex builds up yang energy. For men specifically, for women I'm not sure. I imagine it would as well, but I think they take on more of the yang from a man, specifically if two people having sex. Well, the men, if he ejaculates, he will release that yang energy, that heat and passion of fire, and that's why a guy will feel a sudden chill, a sudden like coldness, or a snap, or a change of mental state when he comes. And then there'll be a rush of the yin, which is things like prolactin, yin hormone to relaxation and such. Now for women I'm not sure. It's probably the same, but I think during sex, of a man and a woman specifically, it'd be different for woman, and man. You're gonna have to think of that on yourself. But I think a man gives the yang energy to a woman, and a woman gives the yin energy to a man at the point of ejaculation. I'll tell you when I know. Anyway. So yeah, that's a very important thing, sexually with your transmutation. So if you feel you don't have enough energy for exercise, personally, I never feel like that. I got too much of this shit. Then, firstly, you can just do exercises, but also I'd recommend you not take stimulants, not take heavy stimulants. If you do need a stimulant, there are very light ones. Light yang herbs are things like cinnamon, anything which heats you up. Cinnamon, turmeric, cardamom to an actually I don't know about cardamom. It's actually a little bit more water, I think. Star anise, kind of. I wouldn't use that one actually. That's more of a psychic herb. Yeah, any of the cooking herbs like cardamom, not cardamom, excuse me, cinnamon, chili peppers, paprika, ginger. Ginger's a very good one. So you notice a lot of the cooking peppers the cooking spices are very yang, partly as like an antibacterial. Antibacterial things are usually yang. They're the tannins, like bitter things of herbs, poisonous things of herbs can be very yang. Yin herbs, honestly, actually no, I know a few. Yin herbs are very good for building up more body fluids, building up more milk if you're a mother, more semen if you're a man, or more seminal fluid, I should say, actually, but also semen actually helps the testicles. These can help the hormones a lot. Things like eating yams, or if you can get either a Japanese yam, like kudzu root, yam root, or wild yam root. They're all good, like a wild Chinese yam root, they're very good. Fenugreek seeds, you get that in a powder, that's very, very good. What else we got? This one's a little bit, you have to be careful with it. Vitex or chasteberry, that's very progesterone heavy. If you take it every day as a man, it'll shut down your hormones. If you take it maybe twice a week spread out, it will actually increase your hormones. You kind of think, I hope you can't hear that, there's like an airplane. Progesterone, more Vitex, it tanks testosterone down, and then it goes really high up. Yeah, so you'll feel maybe first 2 hours, it's hard to get hard, but after that, it's like a diamond. So Vitex, actually, it's good for women trying to get pregnant, I believe. Of course, this is not medical advice. Don't take that from me. But yeah, it does help with progesterone. Apparently, if women take it when they're on birth control, which is, I do not recommend any artificial sex steroids. That destroys your gonads essentially. But if they take it, they can actually get pregnant. So it's quite a powerful herb. So those are some water herbs and some fire herbs. So ginger, cinnamon, and turmeric. Do note that the fire herbs will dry you out. People are very big on turmeric. You shouldn't take it every day or too much because it will dry you out. Similarly, you shouldn't take the water herbs every day, the yin herbs, because it will produce, you'll feel bloated. And for a man, if a man has too much yin energy, he will actually come very quick because he's got too much pressure in the testicles if you can't handle it in the prostate from all that extra fluid. Anyway, going on, winter is related to this yin period, the cold, the rainy, any grey and rainy day. This will produce a lot more liquidity in you, a lot more, as I said, bodily fluids, sexual fluids. Warm, hot days, very sunny, hot days. This is very yang. It's very conducive to activity, to exercise. You get a lot of intense exercise done. You may feel a little sick after, but it is good for that. It dries you out. Body weight and musculature and all that, yang things dry you out. You can think fat as just like a liquid. I don't actually know what it actually is. Some kind of storage of energy, as they say. But the stuff that speeds the metabolism up, this all stimulates, all this stuff that burns the yin energy. That's why I don't recommend you take heavy stimulants like tobacco or nicotine or caffeine. I don't recommend any of that, or much of it, because you'll burn up the root, the bottom of the body, the tailbone, the anus, perineum, the gonads, the lower belly, the bladder, even the belly area. It's all very yin. Too many stimulants, they burn this area up. The legs, they weaken the legs. So you get shaky legs when you take too many stimulants, or you do too much exercise. If you, for example, you do too much yang activity, your legs will be very weak and not very good. Sometimes you need to do like leg exercises. So similarly, if you do too much yin, you will be kind of too bloated. You'll be too absent-minded. A bit too dreamy and spacey. Of course, everyone has a nature, so some people are just kind of dreamy. I'm a little bit like that, a little bit dreamy. I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, well, similarly, some people are ultra yang, which is very, very go-getters. They think everyone's lazy. They, just do too much stuff or something like that. Or they think themselves are lazy when they're actually not. Women's nature is inherently of yin. Men is inherently of yang, but you can also have feminine men and masculine women. And of course, both men and women have both yin and yang aspects. They have both. You know, it's not like men are just tensing all the time and women are just relaxing, you know, all the time. It's more polarized that way, but obviously everyone is capable of both tension and relaxation. So, but inherently the nature of women is more to store, to relax, similarly, women who can't get pregnant all of the time, they have you know, gonad problems due to it could be lifestyle, could be stress, could be you know, birth control, all that stuff. While men, if they have fertility problems, again, it could be men who take steroids that causes that. Again, stress for a man will also do that, though excessive amounts of relaxation for a man, excessive amounts of leisure, if not balanced with activity, because usually life, it should more be more yin than yang. Usually, if you live at a home, if you live a modern lifestyle, and that's fine, but for both men and women. Similarly, if you're like homeless, if you're a traveler, it's going to be a bit more yang activity, a bit more, you know, walking all the time, always doing stuff, always thinking, whatever. But yeah, too much yin can actually cause infertility in men, partly because they can't get it up. So if you, but here's the thing, too much yang as well, because you see the opposite of see, ultra yin becomes ultra yang. It's like if you have a circle, at the top is 0, the left will just say is the yin, and you go down and it goes to like 100% yin, and then the right, you go right, it's yang, and you go 100% yang, and then they meet at the middle at that 100%. So hypertension, for example, and I'm not talking about the blood condition, the blood pressure condition, though who knows, maybe it's related, but too much tension, too much yang energy can also cause infertility, if not being able to get it up. Similarly, in the way that stimulants actually cause a man not to be able to get hard, and I imagine it affects women as well, so that's why, you know, you don't want to smoke tobacco or whatever. Same way is for women, you know, hypertension can cause, you know, problems in hyperrelaxation as well, so you need to have a little bit of balance for that. Anyway, let's see, what else have we talked about? So the seasons, the times of day, you know, midnight, of course, is the peak of yin, which is when we're sleeping. Sleeping is incredibly yin activity, dreaming, these are all very yin. While midday is the peak of the you know, positive yang, all that stuff, fire, water, talk about people, different kinds of you know, genders, etc., body types vaguely. Basically, the bigger a person is, even if their muscles are bigger, the fatter a person is usually, the bigger the bones, the bigger everything. But oh wait, no man. Yes, the more the wider, I guess you could say, someone is, the more yin, the more kind of dry and tight and vascular person is, that's more yang. And most people have a balance of both of them to an extent. What else we got? So activities, I think, yeah, doing exercise, as I said, builds up the yang, the heat in the body, which then eventually turns to cold. So you actually build more of each thing, as in, like, you will build more yin by doing yang stuff, build more yang by doing yin stuff, so to speak. As in, if I have a better night's sleep, which is yin, then I'll be able to do more exercise, which is yang. If I do more exercise, then I will end up sleeping more. For, if that's a good or a bad thing, but for you, but you engage in more of the opposite. So depending on what you want to, what force you want to build up more of, energetically and physically, will be what you engage more in. So yeah, you can change your body that way. You can change your lifestyle that way. You can kind of diagnose, again, not medical advice, but you can diagnose problems and such that way. Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. I always after these videos, I'm like, oh, I should have talked about that, should have talked about that. And that's like a whole another video worth, but so that's why I'm trying to really go over everything. But I think you just can't really get everything on one video, so you can try, but it's difficult. But anyway, so I hope you learnt something from that, and it helps you in your own life. Anyway, goodbye.